What if the habits you ignore today quietly steal the joy from your old age? What would you give to feel strong, happy, and loved when you're 75 or 80? What if you could protect that future with simple choices starting right now? Many people believe they'll just deal with aging when they get there. But the truth is, by the time we feel the effects, it's often too late to fix the damage. That's why this story is not just for your parents or grandparents. It's for you, especially if you're in your 30s or 40s. Because the future you will live in depends on the habits, choices, and mindset you build now. This video will take you through 7 powerful lessons based on real stories, strong science, and emotional truths about the 5 biggest mistakes that quietly destroy health and happiness in old age. These are mistakes most people don't even realize they're making until they've lost their strength, peace, relationships, or hope. You'll hear about how ignoring small health issues today can turn into big problems tomorrow. You'll learn why many older people feel lonely and forgotten, and how that loneliness leads to real health issues like heart disease and memory loss. You'll understand why mental boredom, financial fear, and emotional wounds hurt more with age. But most importantly, you'll learn what you can do now to avoid those traps. So if you care about your future self, if you want to live with strength, joy, and meaning, even when you're 70, 80, or 90, stay with us till the end. This is the story that could change how you age. And before we begin, if you find this message important, please like this video and subscribe to our channel so more people can learn how to protect their future too. Let's begin. Most people assume aging is only about physical decline, gray hair, weak knees, slower walking. But what truly breaks many people in their later years is something less visible: the quiet damage to their mental and emotional health. Over time, the world can start to feel smaller and the mind can feel heavier. What once brought joy might feel dull, and without realizing it, many people slip into emotional loneliness, boredom, or even silent depression, and they never talk about it. In old age, we often see people becoming isolated, especially after retirement or the loss of a spouse. The days grow longer, the phone rings less, and the sense of purpose begins to fade. And this doesn't just affect emotions. Studies show that loneliness increases the risk of heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%, and even early death. That's how powerful our emotional world is. It can either protect or destroy us from the inside out. Another dangerous belief is that learning and growing is only for the young. But when people stop challenging their minds, their brains start to shrink, literally. Research shows that people who stop learning new things in older age lose cognitive function much faster. Mental boredom isn't harmless. It leads to memory loss, confusion, and even diseases like Alzheimer's. In many cases, mental health declines because emotional wounds from the past never healed. Regrets, guilt, or unforgiven pain sit quietly in the heart, and over time, they harden into sadness. Old age doesn't erase pain. It can actually magnify it. But the good news is, healing is always possible. Therapy, talking to loved ones, spiritual practices, or even journaling can help bring light into those dark corners. So how do we protect our mental health as we age? By staying connected, learning every day, sharing our emotions, and keeping our minds active. Talk to someone, learn a skill, teach your grandchild a song, laugh with an old friend. These small things are medicine for the mind. Taking care of your mental world today is the best gift you can give your future self, because true aging begins inside, not outside. There's a kind of pain that doesn't show on the outside. It's quiet, slow, and heavy. It's the feeling of being forgotten, of sitting in a room full of memories, but no one to share them with. Loneliness in old age is one of the biggest reasons people lose their joy, their energy, and sometimes even their will to live. Many people believe that once they've raised their children or retired from work, their time of connection is over. But this belief is not only wrong, it's dangerous. When someone loses emotional strength, they don't just become sad, their health suffers too. Studies have shown that loneliness increases the risk of heart disease, memory loss, and even early death. It affects sleep, increases stress, and lowers immunity. Emotional pain becomes physical pain when it stays inside too long. But the good news is, just like a muscle, emotional strength can be built no matter your age. Many people stop reaching out because they fear rejection or feel like a burden. But staying silent only makes the heart heavier. Instead, call an old friend, talk to your neighbors, join a small group in your area, even if it's just for tea and talk. Sometimes even smiling at a stranger can start something new. Human connection is not about big celebrations. It's about feeling seen, heard, and valued, even in the smallest moments. Another quiet mistake people make is holding on to old pain. They carry regrets, anger, and sadness for years, believing they can't heal. But healing is not about forgetting, it's about letting go. Let go of what you cannot change. Forgive others. Forgive yourself. Free your heart so it can love again, laugh again, and never stop finding joy. Try new hobbies, listen to music, read stories that warm your heart, watch birds outside your window. Life isn't over until your last breath. So keep living. Emotional strength comes from knowing that your value doesn't decrease with age. Your presence still matters. And your heart, no matter how many years it has lived, can still grow full with love. One of the quiet mistakes people make in old age is thinking they no longer need to keep their minds active. They believe that learning is only for the young, and once the working years are over, the brain can rest. But the truth is, when the mind rests for too long, it starts to lose its sharpness. The brain is like a garden. If you stop taking care of it, weeds of forgetfulness and confusion begin to grow. Forgetting names, losing focus, or even feeling lost in daily tasks are not just signs of aging. They are often signs of mental inactivity. It's important to understand that mental decline doesn't happen suddenly. It begins slowly over months and years. It may start with forgetting small things or losing interest in reading or solving problems. But if you continue to avoid mental activity, your brain stops forming new connections. This affects memory, speech, decision-making, and mood. That's why keeping the brain active through simple daily habits is one of the best ways to protect your independence and happiness. Doing crossword puzzles, learning a new language, reading books, or even watching educational videos can help your brain stay alive and strong. Having conversations about meaningful topics, not just small talk, also keeps the mind engaged. Even recalling past events and sharing stories with family or friends strengthens memory. These habits don't need to be hard, they just need to be consistent. Sadly, many people isolate themselves and do the same things every day. This routine can feel safe, but it quietly dims the light of the mind. Life becomes dull, and even small tasks start to feel hard. But there is always a way to bring freshness into your days. Challenge your brain with love and care, not pressure. Try something new once a week, even if it's a small thing like drawing or writing a letter. The mind doesn't age the same way the body does. It can stay sharp, young, and active, but only if we feed it with curiosity, learning, and purpose. As people grow older, many slowly drift away from physical connection, thinking it's no longer needed. But the truth is, our need for touch, love, and closeness does not shrink with age. It grows. The human heart stays soft, no matter how old the body becomes. A gentle hug, a warm hand to hold, or even sitting quietly beside someone we trust. These small moments carry deep healing power. Without touch and real emotional closeness, many older people begin to feel invisible, forgotten, or unloved. Touch is more than comfort. It's a signal to the brain and body that we are safe, valued, and cared for. It lowers stress, calms the heart, and even strengthens the immune system. But when physical closeness is missing, loneliness begins to grow in silence. And loneliness in old age is not just a feeling, it is a serious health risk. It has been linked to higher chances of heart disease, depression, sleep problems, and even early death. Yet many avoid reaching out because they fear being a burden, or they believe that deep connection is only for the young. One painful mistake is pushing others away due to pride, past arguments, or the belief that no one understands me anymore. But healing begins when we drop these walls. We don't need a large group of people. Even one warm, trusted connection can bring joy back into the heart. Whether it's a friend, family member, caregiver, or neighbor, emotional closeness reminds us that we still matter. Touch is also about presence, being fully there with someone, listening deeply, making eye contact, and offering kindness. Sometimes a simple act like holding someone's hand or brushing their hair can bring more peace than 1,000 words. If you're older, don't be afraid to ask for a hug or reach out to those who care. And if you're younger and love someone in their later years, offer your closeness freely. In the end, it is love, real, simple, gentle love, that brings true peace to the aging heart. One of the quietest yet most painful mistakes people make as they grow older is letting go of their sense of purpose. When work ends, children move away, and daily routines change, many begin to feel like they are no longer needed. They wake up not knowing what their day is about, and this slowly makes the heart feel empty. The body may still be alive, but without a reason to get up and move, the spirit starts to become silent. Life begins to feel like waiting, but waiting for what? A strong purpose doesn't have to be big or famous. It can be as simple as watering plants, helping a neighbor, sharing wisdom, or calling a friend who feels lonely. Purpose is the feeling that we still matter, that we still have something to give, no matter our age. People often think that retirement means rest, but too much rest without meaning becomes a slow fade. Studies have shown that older adults who stay active in meaningful ways, whether it's through volunteering, hobbies, caring for pets, or being involved in community, live longer, feel happier, and stay mentally sharp. A major reason people lose their purpose is that they feel their past defines their worth. They may say, "I used to be a teacher," or "I once had a business," and forget that their value isn't locked in the past. You are still here, and that means life still needs you. Even something as simple as sharing stories with grandchildren can plant seeds of strength in the next generation. Another trap is waiting for someone else to give us purpose, a visit, a phone call, a job. But the truth is, purpose often comes when we take small steps. Pick up a book, write down your memories, teach someone a skill, smile at a stranger. These things seem small, but they carry light. In the end, the soul needs direction, just like a river needs flow. Purpose is not about being busy. It is about being meaningfully alive. When we wake up knowing we can bring even a little good to the world today, we remember what it feels like to truly live. As people grow older, many carry silent wounds that have never fully healed. It could be an old grief that was never spoken about, a regret from long ago, a falling out with someone once loved, or even years of emotional neglect. One of the biggest mistakes we make in old age is ignoring this pain, pretending we are fine when our hearts are still quietly hurting. Many older adults try to stay strong by staying silent, but silence doesn't always bring peace. Sometimes it only buries pain deeper inside. When emotions are pushed down for too long, they often show up in other ways, through sadness, loneliness, sudden anger, or even physical illness. Our mind and body are deeply connected, and what we carry in our hearts often shows in our health. That's why it's so important to allow ourselves space to feel, to cry if we need to talk about what still hurts, even if it happened decades ago. There is no shame in feeling. In fact, it's a sign of great strength. Sometimes people believe that at their age, it's too late to fix broken relationships or talk about what went wrong. But that's not true. Healing is always possible, and forgiveness can happen at any age. A simple letter, a phone call, or even talking out loud to someone who is no longer here can bring deep relief to the soul. It's never about changing the past. It's about giving your heart peace now. One powerful way to heal emotional wounds is through connection. Speaking to a friend, a counselor, or even writing down your story can be deeply healing. When we name our pain, it loses its power over us. Many elders find comfort in helping others with similar experiences, turning their own pain into wisdom and compassion. At any age, our hearts deserve to be heard. Emotional healing isn't about forgetting the past. It's about making peace with it so that the years ahead feel lighter, calmer, and more open to joy. When the heart is free, even the smallest moments begin to shine again.